it will always lead back to you. Every single difficulty, every single challenge, every single experience, and every single opportunity will always lead back to you and the relationship that you have with you. Growing up, we are taught a lot about external relationships. This is how you make friends. This is how you get along with family. This is how you fit into society. This is how you show up in social settings when other people are around. But it's not so popular to be taught on how to build a relationship with yourself. I feel like it is now, and that's amazing. We have the internet, we have people sharing their opinions and their education and everything like that. It's amazing. But growing up, for me, I was never taught how to build a relationship with myself. I was always taught how to nourish and take care of all of my external relationships, which is great. But all of our external relationships are based off the relationship that we have with self. And that is something that we are now coming to the realization of. Every single thing that's going on within your life is based off of the relationship you have with self. Because how you feel within, the relationship you have with self, how much you trust yourself, how much you love yourself, how much you take care of yourself, how much you listen to yourself, how much you get to know yourself is allowing us to make certain decisions and have certain reactions and go forward with certain responses, all based off of the way we feel within ourselves and the relationship that we have with ourselves. So in this video, I wanted to go through some ways in which you can build relationship with self. The thing is, building a relationship with self is a lot like building a relationship with your romantic partner. You know, you listen to your romantic partner, you hear them out, you try to understand them, you get to know them, you communicate with them, you love on them, you show up for them, you're patient with them, you fight for them. All of these things that we do within romantic relationships, allowing us to shift that and put it into ourselves as well, is a lot of the way we build a relationship with ourselves. It's important to listen to yourself when you know that you want or you need something. So for example, when your body or your mind or your soul or your spirit or whatever is saying, you know, I need this right now, it's a matter of listening to it, communicating with it, and understanding why you need it and actually going after it. For example, if you're invited out to a party, but your body, your mind, your soul, your spirit's like, no, I want to stay home with self tonight. I want to journal. I need to relax. I need to get rest. I haven't really slept that well in 4 days. But you kind of shut down those feelings that your body, mind, soul, and spirit is telling you to satisfy external relationships. You're not building relationship with self. You're shutting down that relationship with self in order to satisfy your outside relationships. Now, don't get me wrong. Whatever point you're at within life, this will differ. This will vary. But an important part of building a relationship with yourself is listening to those needs. When your mind, soul, body, spirit, all of these things are saying, hey, like you need to rest tonight, or hey, you need to do this tonight. Like that's really what's calling for you right now. It's important to listen to that in order to build a relationship with yourself, because you're building self-trust in that way. You're trusting what your body, mind, soul, and spirit is trying to tell you. You're building trust. You're taking care of yourself. You're saying, hey, I actually know I need this. And you're loving on yourself. You know, you're communicating with yourself. You're understanding yourself, and you're being patient with yourself. Just like if you were in a relationship with your partner in life, and you wanted to listen to what they said, listen to their needs, what they feel like right now, and you took care of that, showing them that you are there for them. Same thing for yourself, listening to what you truly need. And this goes with physical things as well. Like if you feel like I need to get outside more, like I need to get outside more, or I need to start working out, like, because you know, when your body starts to feel like it needs to release something, allow yourself to show up for yourself and actually go and try those things for yourself. Because sometimes we think our body needs one thing, but it actually needs another. But it takes trial and error and figuring out what that is, being patient with yourself. That is how you build your relationship with self, really listening to what you need. Really listening to what you need and not shutting down those feelings because you feel like you need to satisfy something that is outside of yourself. completely shutting down what you actually feel and just going after something else because maybe you want to avoid what self is trying to tell you. Maybe you want to avoid what really needs to be done. I've seen this quote a lot of times, you guys might have as well, and it says, the magic, I think it says this, I may be wrong, but this is the general basis of the quote. The magic is in the work you are avoiding, or something like that. In the work that you are avoiding is where miracles are bound to happen. Because you may have been called to do something, but you avoid it maybe because it's a lot of work, or you avoid it maybe because it means opening up, or you avoid it because it means you're, really coming to the realization of something. All of these things, it's like when your body keeps telling you over and over again, listen to your body, listen to her, listen to him, listen to yourself and what you really need, hear them out, try and understand it, go for it, try it, have patience with it, and see what needs to be done. Another huge part of building relationship with self is to not be afraid of being alone. And I don't mean being alone forever. I don't mean not having friends. I don't mean not being in a relationship, because you can for sure 1,000% build a relationship with self while you are in a relationship with another. My first serious relationship, my relationship with self skyrocketed when I was in that serious relationship, and that's because it was benefiting us. We both grew exponentially, and that's because the relationship was benefiting us at the time, and that's why our relationship with self was able to still grow and still be nurtured and cared for. So do not be afraid of being alone. And I say this because sometimes when you're building relationship with self, it takes a lot of quiet time. It takes a lot of time with just you and yourself to really listen and go within on what you need. And sometimes what you need is isolation, only because without all the outside noise, you're really able to dig deeper on getting to know yourself, and dig deeper on finding your purpose, and dig deeper on just being with you and loving that and loving on you. When you're in a romantic relationship, you love spending one-on-one time with that person. There's a reason for that. There's no outside noise. You're able to really zone in on one another. And so when it comes to relationship with self, you really want to zone in with yourself one-on-one and have that relationship, that one-on-one time with yourself. But it doesn't have to be all the time. Like I said, do not be afraid of being alone, but that does not mean being alone all the time. Just at the moments you know you need it. Don't avoid it. There are some moments where you know you need to be alone, you need to be in isolation, but sometimes you shut down that feeling just to satisfy other outside relationships. Now you can maintain both. You can have these outside relationships and then still have those moments of isolation with yourself. You can balance the two. And, when you are in those moments of isolation, you even come to realizations about who really brings you peace, who's really the best to have within your life right now, and who's really building you up in those moments where you aren't in isolation. Because when you get to the point where you have so much peace with just being with you, you realize when you spend time with certain people, if that peace is aligning with that, or, how it feels with different people, you really know what feels good, what doesn't, because you're getting to know yourself when you were in those isolation periods, and really getting to know what feels best, getting to know your different emotions and your different everything. You're getting to know yourself, and getting to know yourself is going to be a lifelong thing. You're going to be ever evolving. You're not, who you were 10 years ago. You are someone completely different, but at the very core of you, you are you. It's just that where you are right now is different than where you were 10 years ago, but at the very core of you, you are still you. It's just getting to know this person and where they're at right now within this point of their life, and that's exciting. I feel like building a relationship with yourself can be so exciting, just taking the plunge, taking the step, trusting yourself, really taking care of yourself. It's all worth it. It completely is. And I feel like a big part of building that relationship with self can also mean going on solo dates. I've been on a bunch of solo dates this year for the first time, and I've enjoyed every single one. And yes, at first they were nerve-wracking, like going into spaces and atmospheres on my own that I typically wouldn't. But then I realized I was conquering so many of my inner thoughts that just did not serve me. like thinking that I needed to have someone by my side in order to feel comfortable to go into certain spaces. No, you don't. And it's actually empowering and builds your confidence to go into certain spaces, not having anyone there but yourself, knowing that you're not going to have someone there to talk with, to maybe, get your nerves off. No, you have to be with yourself and your own mind and get your nerves off yourself without bouncing off of another person's energy in order to cure that nervousness or to cure whatever goes on within your head when you're out in certain scenarios. It's like sometimes when we go to events and we're with a friend, we're able to be like, oh, like, I don't know how I feel about this. Like, oh, this is going on over there. You're able to bounce off all your energy onto that person, and it's so comforting, right? But when you go into events on your own and you don't have anyone to talk to and bounce that energy off with, you're really getting to sit with yourself and conquer those thoughts on your own and realize that it's not as scary as you think. And it also aids you in shaking off what other people are thinking about you, because I think that's a huge part of being on our own. Sometimes when we have someone else there, it's like, oh, we have this person here, like, I can just like bounce off them. But no, you're with yourself. Deal with it yourself now. You're in this spot. And what are you going to do while you're in this spot? What would you do without the other person's comment, without the other person's advice? What would you do? What's your mind thinking? That's important in building a relationship with yourself. You're getting to know yourself and how you act and how you react in certain atmospheres. Another huge part in building your relationship with self is to build a consistency with yourself of some sort. Because when you build a consistency with yourself of some sort, you are allowing certain things to grow and to thrive. For example, let's say you have a goal to get your right side split in 2 months, okay? You're building a consistency of doing a 15-minute yoga class on YouTube every Saturday. This is like the most random example. But let's say you commit to doing the 15-minute YouTube yoga video every Saturday, and your flexibility is increasing and you're starting to see progress and you're starting to see yourself change and evolve and actually master this thing. You just built a consistency with yourself that allowed you to get to a certain goal. That's building more self-trust. That's showing that you can show up for yourself and build something and grow something. And it's showing yourself, it's proving to yourself, it's showing up for yourself. Just like when you're in a relationship and let's say that you guys plan to have a date every Friday night, that's a consistency that's aiding you in your relationship to grow. Showing up for one another every Friday night, choosing to go on a date, that's fun. Building your relationship, same thing. Build a consistency with yourself on something you do every day, every week, every month. What are you doing for yourself? What consistency are you building with yourself? For me, I journal every day. Does not matter what day. I journal every day. I love to do it for around 10, 15, 20 minutes. And that's a consistency I've built with myself because it feels good. It benefits me. I feel like I grow from journaling. Listening to my affirmations, that's a consistency I do with myself because I feel like it aids me. It helps me grow. It's like something I do. I show up for myself and I do that because it feels good. I got to know that that's what feels good to me through trial and error of other things. What's another consistency? Lately, I've been going on runs with Walk Good LA, and it's only been 3 Wednesdays in a row, but that's another consistency I'm building with myself because I know that I want to improve my cardio health. I'm a Pilates, yoga, hiking girly. Love that for me. But I feel like I definitely need to improve my cardio health, because running, like I'm usually at the back of the herd, but I'm building that consistency, going up every Wednesday, showing up for myself every Wednesday to aid myself, building my cardio health, building that self-trust that, hey, I'm showing up for myself and I'm putting in the effort and I know that something is going to evolve from that because I am allowing myself to show up for myself. Time after time, that consistency. What consistency are you growing with yourself? What consistency are you showing up for yourself with? That is important. My friend gave me the book All About Love by Bell Hooks, and I'm in the middle of reading it, but her description on what love truly is is truly an interesting insight, and I highly recommend that you read it if you're looking for a new book. It really gets down to the basics of what love is, and love is listening, love is understanding, love is patient, love is communicating to try and be there for you, to show up for you. So really implementing those things into yourself, listen to yourself, be patient with yourself, take care of yourself, communicate with yourself. What do you need? What are you feeling lately? What do you think would benefit you? Trial and error. If you feel like you don't really have the best intuition, which you do, it's just a matter of growing it. Listening to yourself, seeing what you need, seeing what feels good, seeing what doesn't feel good, being consistent in the things that do feel good, in the things that you do want to see grow. And yeah, like you've got this. You've got this. You are going to build a beautiful relationship with yourself. It's going to be for life, for eternity, and you have all the time in the world to do it because you are with you 24/7. So I hope that this video really aided you in seeing the importance of building your relationship with self and seeing that you can do it no matter what. If you're in a relationship, if you're not, if you're making new friends, like whatever scenario you find yourself in, you always have time to focus on yourself. You always have time to build that relationship with you. Remember that it always leads back to you. Every single difficulty, every single challenge, when you really think about it, it's always been a subliminal message to choose yourself more, to love on yourself more. You've got this, okay? Remember that you are completely capable of becoming the authentic, best version of yourself, and that everything is always working out for you, no matter what it seems like at any given point in time. Thank you guys so much for watching, listening, and I will see you in the next video.